Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Close your eyes. It's time to discover what starting and growing your own business feels like. Whether your business is bed sheets or skincare, Shopify's with you every step of the way. Now, open your eyes. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/offer22. Shopify.com/offer22.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. You can also follow us on YouTube. We've got some great video content. Our YouTube handle is at LA Rams Up. You can follow us on Instagram as well. I'm your host, Mark. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans. Episode 139 of Rams Up here. We are recapping the Rams' 27-23 loss to the Seattle Seahawks, the sixth straight loss by our Los Angeles Rams, and I have the pleasure of telling you all about it. It was actually a really entertaining game. I went into this game thinking, you know what, I'm just going to relax and enjoy the afternoon, stress-free, watch some of these young guys pitch in. But once the game got rolling, really difficult to treat it like a meaningless game in early December. Actually quite impossible if you're a true Ram fan like I am. This game, in fact, had the intensity at times of a game with a playoff berth at stake, and maybe it kind of did for Seattle. They needed this win very badly. Game was super intense. Early on, it was Ben Skowronek and Kobe Bryant. I don't know if you noticed that. Saw it a couple times barking at each other. Then it was Wagner in the Seattle sideline, and then Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf, and then Ramsey and anybody with two legs, basically. Even the Seattle sideline was having issues amongst themselves. And the end result, not what we wanted to see, the Rams lose, but you got to give the Rams credit for at least coming in ready to play, playing with a lot of heart and a lot of creativity at times. I have to say it was entertaining, but equally frustrating. The end result, the Rams losers of 6 straight, and they fall to 3-9. It was another one of those strange games where our offense made some plays when they had to, and so did our defense, but in the end, neither unit made enough plays when it really counted. The game was there for the taking, but it just wasn't in the cards. But it was exciting to see the energy and the speed of guys like Brandon Powell and Tutu Atwell, Michael Hoyt bringing it. And how about Bobby Wagner? Talk about being totally invested in a game and the outcome. Got to feel bad for Bobby. I really enjoyed watching him today. He had a great game, and it would have been really sweet if the Rams had found a way to win this game just for him. But the Rams will get one more shot at these guys up in Seattle, and that game could mean a lot more than this one to Seattle and a couple of other teams. So the Rams will have a role to play in this playoff pecking order in the seeding when all is said and done, and that last game against Seattle will be critical, I'm sure. I'm going to review my fearsome 4 keys to the game. Fearsome key number 1, this is the game you got to get the running game going, and we did. I'll get into some stats a little bit later on, but Cam Akers and Brandon Powell especially. Kyron Williams didn't really get a lot of touches, but those two really put a dent in that Seattle defense, and they had to. The Seattle rush defense is pretty bad, and we got it going. Cam Akers had a couple rushing TDs, so that one went our way. Fearsome key number 2, bend, don't break, force long drives and field goals. I'm not going to say we got that done. Geno Smith, 3 touchdown passes, had a couple of big plays to Metcalf and Lockett. Overall, no, we did not succeed in that. Forced 2 field goals. Seahawks had 3 touchdowns, and some of those drives, they were just picking up chunks of yardage. Didn't like it, didn't like what I saw, and I don't think we got that done. Had to keep the Seahawks out of the end zone, and it's hard to do that when Metcalf and Lockett are running free in the secondary. Fearsome key number 3, creativity in the run game, and we saw that especially early with Brandon Powell and a little bit later with Tutu Atwell. I have to say, we succeeded. That's a mark in our favor. Shout out to McVay. He finally listened to me. Mostly with Powell and Atwell. It was good to see. Rams got it done there. And fearsome key number 4, win or break even in the turnover battle. You know, we had the fumble recovery and the interception. Wolford had a couple of interceptions. One of them late in the game didn't mean anything. But we didn't capitalize enough when we did get the takeaways. So, yeah, we got that done. But it really came down to, in my opinion, in this game, our inability to stop the Seattle offense at critical times in this game and to push the ball into the end zone, especially on that series where they had a 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line and settled for a field goal. Pretty in-depth series of plays after that. Again, give the Rams credit for coming to play, played with a lot of heart, just didn't have the talent at the quarterback position. Sorry to say, painful to hear, but it's the truth. And our defense didn't step up at the end there. You know, that was a situation at the end of that game. We needed AD out there, right? How many times have we seen Aaron Donald make a big play at the end in a game like this, and we didn't have AD to rely on, and Seattle just marched down the field pretty easily, punched the ball in the end zone at the end of the game, and the Rams lose. Comes down to that. Tough game, tough loss. Hey, look at the bright side. At least this wasn't a really meaningful game to the Rams, a game that they needed to keep in the playoff hunt or to stay in first place in the NFC West. All that is long gone, still difficult to watch. Be back in a second with our game capture. We will follow that with another segment. We'll get into team stats, players of the game, and all that good stuff. And then finally, of course, our loop around the league, where we will talk about a significant injury suffered by one of our primary NFC West rivals. Let's capture this game for you. Seahawks won the toss and deferred. Rams got the ball at their own 23 and drove 77 yards for a touchdown. Cam Akers doing the honors. Nice drive. The Rams get very creative, got a lot of guys involved. Akers, Powell, Atwell, Skowronek, and Trammell all had touches. Higbee would have as well, but he and Wolford had trouble connecting. But Rams take a 7-0 lead. And unfortunately, the Seahawks answered, came back with an 80-yard drive of their own. Kenneth Walker III, 30 yards on the first play from scrimmage. It only took the Seahawks 6 plays to go the distance. Tyler Lockett scoring the touchdown from 36 yards out, and it was a little bit too easy in my opinion. So it's 7-7, and the Rams answered with a field goal. Tutu Atwell had a nice 30-yard catch on that drive, but the Seattle defense stiffens and the Rams settle for the 40-yard field goal. So they're up 10-7. Seattle's next possession, Rams force a 3-and-out. Seahawks punt. The Rams get pinned back at their own 13 after a personal foul on Keir Thomas, a block in the back on the long snapper. Rams pick up 1 first down, but have to punt. Pin Seattle all the way back at the 10. They go 91 yards in 11 plays, picking up big chunks, 12 yards, 6 yards, 17 yards, 8 yards, 25 yards, 7 yards, 12 yards. And then on 3rd and goal, Geno Smith finds a wide open Noah Fant for the touchdown, and the Seahawks have the lead 14-10. Deep into the second quarter here, Rams pick up a first down on a pass interference. Kyren Williams converts a 3rd and 3, and Wolford hits Van Jefferson for 16 yards, but then on 1st and 10, Kyren Williams does a wheel route down the left sideline. Wolford underthrows it. Williams was pretty well covered anyways, and it is intercepted by the Seahawks. But they have to start at their own 10, and the Rams defense holds in this case and forces another 3-and-out. Rams take over at their own 37, Brandon Powell has a nice run for 16 yards, and then a short pass to Powell picks up 9. Rams pick up the first down on a penalty, but on second down, Wolford is sacked, and that eventually leads to a field goal. Matt Gay hitting from 54 yards. Seattle gets the ball with less than a minute left, and they run out the clock, and we go to halftime. Seattle leading 14-13. We go to the second half. The Rams kick off. Seattle's first possession ends in a turnover. Michael Hoyt knocks it out of Geno Smith's hand. The ball takes a crazy bounce forward, and it's recovered by Taylor Rapp. Rams have it at their own 29, but Jordan Brooks picks up the sack, and the Rams have to punt. So the turnover amounts to nothing. Seattle takes over at their own 17. This is the drive where Bobby Brown comes up with a big play on first down. Russ Yeast delivers a big hit on Tony Jones. It's not as bad as it looks, and I would argue it's not even a penalty, but it looked really bad, and it draws the flag. That moves the ball out to the 30. And then Geno Smith hits DJ Metcalf for 40 yards over Darion Kendrick down to the Rams 30. A Lockett reception gets them down to the 15. Smith hits Metcalf down to the 8, but on third and goal, Leonard Floyd brings the pressure, and Smith's pass is incomplete to Lockett in the end zone. This is a play Metcalf drew the penalty after the play, but Seattle gets the 41-yard field goal to widen their lead to 17-13. Rams' next possession, and this was a play that really hurt. They go 3 and out, but John Wolford severely underthrows Tutu Atwell. Lead him a little bit, just gets some air on the ball, and it's a Rams touchdown, but Rams have to punt. Seattle takes over at their own 22. They pick up 8 yards on a screen and then 19 yards on a play to Disley. And then a few plays later, this is where Wagner gets the interception, ripping the ball away from the Seattle running back. Weird play. I thought they were going to overturn it, but they didn't. Rams get the ball at their own 45. And this possession takes them into the fourth quarter. Wolford has to go out after one play. Perkins bootlegs for the first down. Wolford a big pass to Van Jefferson to the Seattle 22. 2 runs by Atwell give the Rams a first down at the Seattle 11-yard line. The next 3 plays really take issue with on the play calling. Akers up the middle to the Seattle 8 for 3 yards. And it's pretty doubtful the Rams are going to try to run again at this point, but they do a play action roll out to the left, the short side of the field, and Wolford tries to connect with Higbee, but there's nothing there. And then Wolford is sacked on third down, and the Rams have to settle for the field goal. So they pick up the 3 points, but they're still down 17-16. Seattle answers with a field goal of their own. This was the drive where Lockett picked up 27 yards wide open down to the Rams' 11-yard line. From there, the Rams hold. On third down, a Geno Smith pass is tipped by Rapp in the end zone, and Seahawks pick up the 26-yard field goal to open their lead to 20-16 again. 6:46 left, and the Rams answer. They go 75 yards in 9 plays. Wolford hits Atwell for 18 yards out to the 43, and then he hits Higbee for 5 yards. A run by Akers sets up a 3rd and 1. They give the ball to Akers again, and he cannot pick it up. And on 4th and 2, Wolford bootlegs, runs for the first down, 14 yards, down to the Seattle 35. On second down, Brandon Powell, beautiful run, showing a lot of twitch on this play, cuts it up the middle to the Seattle 15 for 20 yards. And then on second and goal, Akers up the middle for 6 yards in the touchdown, and the Rams have the lead, 23-20. And this is where you're just hoping the Rams defense can hold one more time. How many times have we been in this situation where the Rams have taken a lead against the Seahawks and you're just waiting for AD to step up and make a play? But you know what? We don't have AD, and we don't have anyone actually that can step up and make a play. And the Seahawks drive for the game winner. Geno Smith, a nice little pass across his body. Jalen Ramsey covering DK Metcalf like a blanket, but the pass is just too accurate. The perfect spot, and Metcalf is able to catch it and secure it for the game-winning touchdown. Seattle takes a 27-23 lead. The Rams got the ball back one more time, but they were going nowhere. This game ends Seahawks 27, the Rams 23. Don't go away, coming back with a lot more notes on this Rams-Seahawks game. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is my go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season. Right now, everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. And if you're looking for a Week 12 same-game parlay, how about this one? Right now, Texans +7 against the Dolphins. The over-under is 45. The Texans have the worst rush defense in the league, giving up 181 yards per game. First of all, I think the Texans +7 is a good bet, and I think we're going to go with the under on that point total of 45 for a couple reasons. Both teams are going to try to run the ball. That'll shorten the game. Dameon Pierce has a good chance of slicing and dicing this Dolphin defense. So both teams are going to be running the ball. So take the under on the point total, take the Texans +7, and I'm going to say take Mostert over on the rushing yardage. He's going to get plenty of action against this Texans defense. And how about this? If you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TPPN, place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game, you get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TPPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Let's get into some additional notes. The Rams lose to the Seattle Seahawks 27-23. Let's take a look at some stats. At halftime, the Rams led in total yardage 207 to 167. Rams had 94 yards rushing at that point. Wolford was 9 for 16 for 123 yards, and the interception, the underthrown ball to Tutu Atwell. At that point, Geno Smith was just 10 for 15 with 2 touchdown passes for 141 yards. Keep in mind he finished with 367 yards passing. Let me repeat that, 367 yards passing. The Seahawks finished with nearly 200 more yards passing than the Rams. The Rams did finish with 171 yards rushing. Akers had 60, Powell 45, Atwell 23. Perkins had 1 run for a first down as well when he came in when Wolford was hurt. That was actually the first Rams first down of the second half. Yeah, the Rams opened the second half with 2 3-and-outs. That does not help your cause. Kendrick led the Rams in tackles, but should we really be surprised? He seemed like he was a few steps behind whoever was catching the ball all night long. Kendrick had a bad day. For the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett, 9 catches for 128 yards. DK Metcalf, 8 catches for 127. They both had TD catches, as did Noah Fant. And I do not want to see what Tyler Lockett's career stats are against the Rams. I feel like I wake up in the middle of the night and I see him catching 45-yard passes from Russell Wilson and now Geno Smith. That guy has run so free against the Rams over his career. He's been a Rams killer. My prediction was Rams 20, Seattle 16. I thought we would do a better job putting the clamps on this Seahawks offense. No such luck. How about my fearsome 4 big plays? It was 14-13 at halftime, and my 4 big plays all came in the second half. Fearsome big play number 1, Seattle leading 14-13. The Rams had just recovered that fumble, Taylor Rapp picking up that bouncing ball off of Geno Smith's hand, but the Rams went 3-and-out, and then on 1st and 10 from their own 30, Geno Smith connects with Metcalf for 40 yards, beating Kendrick on the sideline. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. Decent coverage on that play, actually, by Kendrick. Not exactly what we want to see out of our bend, don't break defense, though. That play led to a Seattle field goal, and they opened the lead to 17-13. Fearsome big play number 2 was kind of a play that didn't happen, actually. After that field goal on the ensuing Rams possession, 1st and 10, Wolford drops back, Tutu Atwell streaking free, and Wolford severely underthrows him, and the ball's batted away. That was a touchdown in the making there. 7 points down the drain. These are the plays that the Seahawks make against us over the years, again and again and again, and a John Wolford-led Rams team cannot make this play. It's just not going to happen. Really highlighted something we see all night. Wolford really lacking in NFL arm strength. Saw it over and over again, and this play really, really hurt. For some big play number 3, the Rams punt after that miss to Atwell, and a few plays later, Bobby Wagner makes that crazy wrestling interception of Geno Smith, giving the ball back to his offense. That was a play that really kept the Rams in the game at that point and led to a Rams field goal, and they closed to 17-16. And fearsome big play number 4 has to be that final touchdown pass. Geno Smith thrown across his body, zipping it in to DK Metcalf, hits him in the hands, and he squeezes it. Got to give them credit. Ramsey actually had pretty good coverage. For a moment there, I thought it was going to be an interception, but Seattle gets it done. Smith to Metcalf. Big play number 4, the biggest play of them all. Rams lose 27-23. Some additional notes on this game. Hey, the Rams lost a coin toss again. Man, really flipped from last year, didn't it? The Rams starting offensive line, Ty Nsekhe, Matt Skura, Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, and Rob Havenstein. The starting 3 on the right side, our actual starting 3. Our opening day starting 3. They were all together, and I don't know what the Pro Football Focus grades are going to be on these guys, but I think they played okay. Wolford was scrambling a little bit, and they had him moving, designed rollouts a lot, but the run game was working. So I'll be interested to see how these guys graded out. Nsekhe and Skura, not sure how they did either, but at least we had 3 starting offensive linemen starting for our offensive line. Kind of nice. The Seahawks running backs are dropping like flies. Kenneth Walker hurt his foot, and then DJ Dallas also got hurt, but came back in after that big hit by Russ Yeast on Tony Jones, who was the 3rd string running back. If DJ had not been able to come back in, I guess they would have been running back less. Is that a word? And on that hit by Russ Yeast, I mentioned it in the game capture, it looked really, really bad live, but when you look at it on slow-mo and on replay, it really wasn't that bad, and I would argue maybe even not a penalty, but it looked so bad they throw the flag and 15 yards for the Seahawks. And hey, we had a Bobby Brown sighting. Did you see that? He made one good play, one big play on a 1st down run, shut it down. So kind of nice to see him in the rotation. Aaron Donald and Ashawn Robinson out. They kind of had no choice. Another example of a player not developing and contributing like we had hoped, but hey, he's finally on the field making a play, so that was a good thing to see. Player props. Well, one guy stands out, a few guys actually, but the one that stood out that I have to mention first is Michael Hoyt. Is he our best pass rusher at the moment? Yeah, he is. In fact, I had to go look just to make sure, and good news, he's an exclusive rights free agent next year. My understanding is if the Rams offer him a 1-year contract at the league minimum based on his credited seasons, the player cannot negotiate with other teams. Rams got to keep him, and maybe the Rams should reward him, give him a nice little contract. Michael Hoyt developing into a real contributor. And Brandon Powell, man, on that one run, planting his foot and turning upfield, it's really nice to see what he brings to the offense, and it really changes things for the Rams, right? They have not really relied on guys like that much, and I'm going to throw Tutu Atwell in there too. Atwell had a beautiful catch. Those guys on the field bring something new to this Rams offense, and I really enjoyed it. Powell and Atwell, I'm giving them both game balls. And hey, you can't ignore Matt Gay's contribution, perfect again, including a 54-yarder. It's just too bad he's having this kind of year in a meaningless season. To me, he's a potential Pro Bowler, but he'll probably get overlooked given the Rams season. And finally, and lastly, player props to Bobby Wagner. Man, he was playing out of his mind. I don't remember seeing him that pumped up playing for the Seahawks, but he had a great game, a couple of sacks, the interception, and playing out of his mind. And on the downside, who are our GOATs? Well, Darion Kendrick struggled again. Not sure if he has what it takes to be a cover corner in the NFL. I don't know. He has some work to do. Kind of scary with him out there. Rams need another cornerback. And Tyler Higbee, just not getting it done. It's not the Tyler Higbee we're used to, where he's making plays for this team in crunch time. And much like I looked up Michael Hoyt's contract situation, I looked up Tyler Higbee, and this may be Tyler Higbee's Rams career winding down, perhaps. His 2023 post-June 1st release would create a dead cap of $2.3 million, a cap savings of $6 million. So this might be the end of the road for Tyler Higbee as a Ram. But why aren't they getting Bryson Hopkins involved and even Jacob Harris? Someone explain that to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Tyler Higbee. He's had a great career. Truly one of the greatest Ram tight ends ever. But he seems to be really struggling. And John Wolford got a lot of moxie, that's for sure. Good wheels, extends plays, but his arm strength really became, or lack thereof, really became evident in this game against Seattle. And furthermore, he's really late getting the ball out in a lot of cases. And that's a bad combination for an NFL quarterback, having a weak arm and getting the ball out late. You could get away with one perhaps, but not both. John Wolford, between him and Bryce Perkins, I'm not sure how we get it done the rest of this year, the rest of this season. It may not be fun to watch. And Jalen Ramsey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he had a bad game, but Jalen, got to make that play at the end. What does it all mean? The Rams continue to sink further into this meaningless hole. Really, doesn't really matter at this point. Just want to see these guys play well and these players develop. Hopefully this team can keep it together, continue playing hard. It's really difficult to have high expectations at this point. Still excited to see what these guys bring, especially Atwell and Powell. Did not see Daniel Hardy in this game. He may have had some snaps. If he did, I missed it. Coach's Corner, my special assistant texted me, every time Tutu gets a touch, he feels like screaming at Sean McVay, I told you so. Get this guy some touches. Tutu Atwell has potential to be an impact player in the NFL. The Rams have failed at getting it going with Tutu Atwell until today, for some reason. And what about those 2 timeouts at the end of the first half? Did the Rams really think they were going to score with 20 seconds left or less? This after we had moments earlier handed the ball off on 3rd and 17 to set up a 54-yard field goal? Yeah, I didn't get it. And those 3 play calls were down 17-13. We have a 1st and 10 at the Seattle 11. First down, Akers goes for 3 between the tackles. If we expect Akers to score from there, then fine. Otherwise, it's just a waste it down. Is it because we don't trust our quarterback? Perhaps. Then on 2nd down, Wolford bootlegs left to the short side of the field, and his option to Higbee is taken away, erased by Bruce Irvin. And then on 3rd down, Wolford is sacked. I expect better from our coaching staff. Maybe it's because of our quarterback situation. Playing it safe, hoping Akers can get in from 11 yards. If he picks up 3 or 4 yards, what does that really get you? Try to run it 3 downs, get it into the end zone. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Akers did have 2 rushing touchdowns, but I don't know, didn't get it. No comment on the announcers, although at halftime there was a Geno Smith love fest going on, but whatever. The game announcers, though, did give the Rams a lot of credit for bringing it, which was kind of nice, I guess. And the Rams played hard, played tough, just didn't have the talent in this game to get it done, especially at quarterback. We'll be back in a minute with our loop around the league. Let's get into our loop around the league. Thursday night, Bills 24, Pats 10. That's the Bills' first win in their own division. Hard to believe. Steelers 19, Falcons 16. Falcons drew within 3 with 5:29 left. Got the ball back with less than a minute left, but Minkah Fitzpatrick gets the pick to put an end to the Falcons' hopes. Ravens 10, Broncos 9. Tyler Huntley relieved an injured Lamar Jackson through an interception, but after that was dynamite. Broncos kicker McManus came up short on a 63-yard field goal on the last play of the game. 4th straight loss for Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Lions 40, Jags 14. Jared Goff 340 yards and 2 TDs, both to Amon St. Brown. Lions dominated this game start to finish, still hanging on to their playoff hopes. Packers 28, Bears 19. Bears took a 19-10 lead late in the third. Packers scored the last 18 points. God, they hate Aaron Rodgers in Chicago. Browns 27, Texans 14. The return of Deshaun Watson against his old team. The Texans managed 283 yards of offense. The two teams combined for just 60 rushing yards. Not much offense in this game at all, to be honest with you. Not that entertaining either. Well, this game was entertaining. Vikings 27, Jets 22. Vikings took a 27-15 lead with 8 minutes left. Jets closed to 27-22. Took them just 2 minutes to score. They get the ball back. Drove 83 yards in 14 plays. Problem is they needed 84 yards. They had a 1st and goal from the Vikings 4, a 4th and goal from the 1, and their final pass for the win comes up incomplete. Commanders 20, Giants 20 in overtime. Tit for tat all day long. Commanders took a 10-0 lead. Eagles tied it up 10-10. It was 13-13. It was 20-20. Overtime, 4 punts, and then the Giants miss a 58-yard field goal on the last play of the game. Eagles 35, Titans 10. I predicted a thumping, and that's what we got. Titans were shut out in the second half. Jalen Hurts, 380 yards passing and 3 TDs. Afternoon games, the 49ers 33, the Dolphins 17. Tua threw a 75-yard touchdown pass to Trent Sherfield on the opening play from scrimmage, but struggled after that. The biggest takeaway from this game, though, is Jimmy Garoppolo breaks his foot out for the year. Brock Purdy came in and picked the 49ers up 25 for 37 for 210 yards and 2 TDs. Regardless of how Purdy played, there's got to be some big concerns in 49er land. Can Brock Purdy get it done for this team? Big win at home against a very good team, but very costly for the 49ers. I thought the Chiefs were going to take care of the Bengals, but man, give the Bengals credit. 27-24 over the Chiefs at home. Travis Kelce with a costly turnover, and the Bengals took advantage. Burrows hitting Chris Evans with an 8-yard TD pass with 8 minutes left. Chiefs shut out in the fourth quarter. Bengals get a big win. Jamar Chase, in his return from that injury, 7 catches for 97 yards, and the Bengals kind of stepping out of the shadows, making a run at their second straight Super Bowl, perhaps. Raiders 27, Chargers 20. I thought the Chargers would take care of the Raiders in this game. Chargers scored first on a pick 6, but the offense couldn't get much done after that. And Derek Carr hooks up with Devontae Adams twice, and the Raiders get the win. Really puts a dent in the Chargers' playoff chances. They dropped to 6-6. And in the Sunday night game, the Cowboys all over the Colts, 54-19. Dak Prescott throws for just 170 yards, but 3 TDs. Tony Pollard, 91 yards rushing and 2 TDs. Zeke, 77 yards rushing and 1 TD. Cowboys rushed for over 200 yards. really took it to the Colts. They are looking like a surefire number 1 wild card seed at this point. And what do we have left? We have the Bucs and Saints on Monday night, and then Rams have to turn around real quickly, get ready for the Raiders. Come into SoFi Stadium Thursday night. Look for our preview early Thursday morning. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. Visit our website at ramsup.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.
Music courtesy of the YouTube audio library. Tracks featuring Bar Crawl by Track Tribe, Buckeye Bonzai by Vans in Japan, and Crimson Fly by Huma.